Welcome to Creative Thinking with Kim Thomas, a podcast from the Village Chapel in Nashville, Tennessee. Together we'll explore where faith and art meet and how creativity can draw us closer to the heart of God. Our hope is to inspire, inform, and encourage creative thinking from a biblical perspective. For show notes, resources, or to learn more about our ministry, visit thevillagechapel.com. Now, here's Kim.
In the last episode, we practiced ceasing, stepping back from the relentless pressures that drain our lives. Today, we turn toward the companion movement of Sabbath rest, feasting. And what we are feasting on today is balance. Teach me your way, O Lord, and lead me on a level path. Psalm 27:11. Thus we shall always keep the depths of our souls free and balanced, and we shall cut off thoroughly the futile things which embarrass our hearts and which prevent them from turning easily to God. Francois Fenelon. I was on my way to swim. Most days I am singular, myopic in focus, no turning to the left or to the right. But on this day I did both. I turned right, then quickly left into the cramped parking lot of a small local art gallery. Fresh yellow stripes marked the spaces. Our uniquely American insistence on defining territory for the self. They did nothing to help the finesse required to navigate such a small space. Once parked, I tucked my gym bag into the back seat and locked the car under the warm and rapidly warming July sun. All the lotions and oils inside would soon become viscous. I would need to be very careful later. But everything was going to be just fine. The pool would still be wet, even if I was delayed. Letting the guilt and pressure of my schedule slip from my shoulders, I walked the few steps to the door. Cool, artificial air met my face. I was in the early weeks of painting for my fall art show. This gallery often held work that stirred something in me, and I needed stirring. Some walls screamed with oversaturated color. Others offered quiet portraits, landscapes, textures, fragments of artists' souls scattered everywhere. I felt at home. These were my people. After wandering downstairs, I climbed the stairs to the featured gallery. Along the way, pieces at wildly different price points whispered for my attention. I rarely find treasures there, but I always look, careful not to miss something that might be hidden. Upstairs, I grew a bit self-conscious. The curator sat at his desk. We were friendly. Still, I felt slightly guilty, soaking up inspiration without offering a sale. Most of the work that day was pleasant, mildly engaging. I noticed another artist using wax, pastel colors, symbolic figures. I studied technique, but nothing truly stopped me until I saw a small oil painting on the back wall. It was only 5 by 7 inches. Most of the piece was composed of gossamer clouds, layered, atmospheric, moody. Suspended in the lower left was a small silhouette of a little person walking a tightrope from one cloud to the next, carrying a balance bar. The breath left my lungs. This was me, except I had been running full speed with no balance bar, convinced momentum alone would keep me upright. How long could I do that? How much weight could I carry before the fall came? Finding equilibrium requires honestly measuring how much we can bear before we lose our footing. As our stress load increases, our capacity to stabilize diminishes. A faithful walk on the tightrope requires feasting on balance. The little figure carried a long bar, equalizing, stabilizing. I realized I needed to look what was in my hands, what was helping me stay upright, and what was dead weight. In Exodus chapter 4, when Moses hesitates before God's call, the Lord asks a simple question. What is in your hand? A staff, Moses answers. God tells him to throw it down. When Moses throws it down, it becomes a serpent. When he picks it up again at God's command, it becomes a staff, an instrument of support. Only by God's voice can the snakes we carry become rods of balance. So, what's in your hands? Picture all your responsibilities and commitments. Can we still see your face behind them? No mentality can handle all the piles and piles and piles that we carry. So now, set each thing down at the feet of Christ, one at a time. As you step back, look at all you thought you could carry. Prayerfully reach for the things that are truly yours to hold, to love, to grow, to be faithful. Not everything is essential. Ask God which things are life-giving and which have quietly become snakes. Which are things He would have us carry by His strength and guidance that would help us live a more balanced life. Rest is the great equalizer. As balance returns, it reshapes what we say yes to and what we release. Abraham Heschel wrote that Sabbath is the inspirer and all else the inspired. On a day when I desperately needed inspiration, I ceased from my crazy schedule and I feasted on balance. I practiced the rhythm of Sabbath. I was reminded that an unbalanced soul has little to offer, and that sometimes Sabbath rest looks like wandering into a small art gallery that wasn't on the schedule that day, where God has quietly left a message waiting for me. So again I ask, what is in your hands? And would you like to set some of it down? As we walk the way of Lent, may we learn not only what to release, but what to receive. Today, may you feast on what restores you and find your Sabbath rest in the presence of Christ.
We're so glad you joined us for Creative Thinking with Kim Thomas. If today's episode encouraged or inspired you, share it with friends or family, and be sure to subscribe and leave a review. To explore more resources or to support our ministry, visit thevillagechapel.com.